Hey guys, it's Lydia. If you're new here, hi and welcome to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing the best books to read in summer 2022. You guys have probably gotten recommendations to read half of these, and if you don't know whether it's worth it or not, I'm going to help you out. Of all of the books that I've seen go viral this summer, go viral on TikTok. Little disclaimer, I'm not going to give any spoilers, so don't worry about that if you're watching this video. I will not spoil it for you, and if you're going to comment down below, just please make sure you don't spoil the books for others. A lot of these books are romance and fiction, and I was never a big fiction romance kind of book person. I literally just got into reading again this year. I have 8 books here and I'm going to talk a little bit about them, what they're like, and these are books you need to read this summer. Let's get right into it. Also, I don't have hard copies of half of these books anymore. Once I read it, I want to give it to my friends so they can read it too. So the first one we're going to start with is the first book that got me back into reading. It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Malibu Rising. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a really good author. She's able to really dive deep into different characters. She's able to create storylines that are easy to follow but still interesting in the different character perspectives. So one chapter will be about a sister and then the next one will be about a brother, but they all make sense. So the plot of this book is basically just, it's a super rich family. They have a lot of underlying family issues. Every year they have an annual party where everyone comes together and it's a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of really rich people. The storyline, each character is going through something different behind closed doors. So everyone in the family has a little bit of a secret, and then this party becomes just an absolute mess. It's 4 siblings and it all kind of stems from their dad leaving them at a really young age. The plot basically just keeps you engaged throughout it. You really want to just figure out what's gonna happen at this party, how everything's gonna go down, and it has a good ending. It's definitely worth a read. Definitely a really perfect summer beach read book. Okay, and then the next one I read is also by her. I noticed a common theme about her writing more about wealthier people, celebrities, rich families, rock stars. I know she wrote Daisy Jones and the Sixth. I haven't read that one, but I've heard good things about it, so comment down below if that one's worth it. The next one I read was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. One of my favorite things about her is that she kind of connects the characters. So the dad of Malibu Rising, the one who abandoned his family, whatever, was one of the husbands in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I liked the way she kind of intertwined the characters. Now, this book is definitely lengthier. I don't know how to explain it. It just seemed a lot more dense. It was a lighter book because it's not super emotional, but it took me longer to read because I wasn't super excited the entire time to figure out what happens. So this book is about a celebrity who, she's gotten older, she's lived her life, and now she wants to tell her story of everything that was actually true about her, going through the kind of world of fame throughout her whole life, trying to be perceived as someone who she wasn't actually for fame, which I think is a really interesting take. It really just makes you think more about that kind of stuff. So now she's a little older and she wants to tell her story, so she hires this girl to write her story for her, and to this girl, she's like, why me? Why does a celebrity want to tell her story? What's the catch? Then there is a catch. So Evelyn's perceived as stuck up, snotty. As she's telling her story, you kind of get to know her better. You understand all the things that have ever been said about her, why and what happened behind it. So each section tells you about why she married this person, how that relationship ended, and then what happens next over a couple years span. So it's kind of doing flashbacks, and I really do like it. It has a good ending. You'll really like the characters if you read this one. Definitely not my favorite book. I think I prefer Malibu Rising over it, but it's still a good one. So then after that one, The People We Meet on Vacation. It's that orange cover book by Emily Henry. This I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on. I personally loved it just because I was looking for a cheesy, easy to read beach book. Now, if you're looking for something with a little more depth and the insane plot line, you won't like this one because it really is just a lighter book. This one was just really easy to read. It's definitely cheesy. And I've seen that a lot of people don't like the morals kind of behind it. So the storyline is about Poppy and Alex are best friends, and they go on all of these trips together, and then they lose connection for a little while, and then someone asks Poppy, when was the last time you were happy? And it was the last time she went on this trip with Alex, her best guy friend. Then it kind of gets into all of their trips together, and she asks if they can go on one more trip together, and it kind of dives into the complications of them having other relationships throughout their best friends and their trips and all that kind of stuff. So if you need a break from any intense books or whatever, this is a perfect great little beach book. Okay, so you guys should know that Colleen Hoover is going to be the next section I talk about. I have to include it. I've never found an author that I actually enjoy reading as much as her books. Okay, so I had just finished The People We Meet on Vacation when I decided to read It Ends With Us. And something that I think needs to be talked more about is that the trigger warning before reading some of her books, because they are all super intense and deep and kind of twisted and dark in certain ways. Like, each of her characters definitely go through like a bit of trauma, I find, at the beginning of the books, which gives you that like deeper connection to the character, making you want to root for them throughout the whole book. People should be aware that like if you're in a darker state or have been through some of these traumatic experiences, it may not be the best for you to read, depending on like your mindset. Also, another thing about Colleen Hoover is her covers are so clever, like you understand them once you're finished reading the book, so that's a really cool thing. She is really good at making like spicy sex scenes, and literally me just raving about her. She's also good at writing a two-person POV without it getting confusing as well, just like Taylor Jenkins. So obviously I had to start by reading It Ends With Us. It's not what I was expecting to read. I don't usually read the back of books because I want to be surprised, but I read the back of this one and I decided to start with this one first because I saw it everywhere and then I heard there's a movie coming out about it. This is about a girl named Lily. She meets Ryle at college, but she had been with somebody before she met Ryle and he comes back into her life. She finds all of these old like journal entries she wrote to herself while she had been with the guy before. I think his name's Atlas. So it'll kind of like jump back from present time to then her reading her old journal entries. This one's a little triggering though if you have dealt with anything to do with physical abuse. So just a little warning there. It leaves you feeling good at the end and it leaves you feeling kind of inspired. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it is a really good one, but it's not my favorite because I like two of her other books way, way, way better. Okay, the next one I have is Ugly Love, and I didn't even sell this one because I want to be able to read this again. I loved it this much. This book has got me on a Colleen Hoover kick. Now I just want to read all of them, but I've noticed ever since I read this one, like no other book can compare to it. So if you're gonna read any books from this video recommendation, please read this one. It is literally the best book I've ever read, and I don't think anything will ever top it. Trigger warning for this one too, it's not a light read. In this, it's about a girl who meets a guy named Miles on a rooftop, and then they have this super deep talk thinking they're never gonna see each other again. They end up seeing each other again. And then they commit to a relationship where there is no emotional attachment. He does not want to get to know her at all, and she doesn't really understand why. So throughout it, she thinks she's gonna change him. It's like, oh, this will change, like he'll end up liking me. But no matter what, like he will not let her get to know him. And the entire book, like you just wanna know why. Like what happened to him to make him never wanna love again. The book fulfills you. You get to find out why. There is a huge, huge plot twist that like you would not expect. 10 out of 10, cannot rate this enough stars. The next one I read was Verity, and this is like out of the romance kind of category. This is also not a light read. This is the most shocking and disturbing book I've ever read. I was on edge and I actually like could not put this down because I wanted to stop because it was so twisted, but I had to know what happens. Going into this, not a light read. Again, I read this one immediately after Ugly Love, and this is my second favorite book I think I've read in like a weird way. If you've read this, you'll understand. I can't even understand how she thought of writing this. So this book is about an author whose husband asks this failing author to finish this really popular book series she was writing because she had gotten into an accident. So the struggling author needs the money and is super desperate. So she agrees, says yes, and then ends up taking this job, but she has to go to this person's house to like look through all of her notes and stuff. Also, the first two chapters were like really weird, and just if you can get past the first two chapters, it gets better, I promise. This girl ends up at this guy's house with his injured wife, and she's looking through the notes to like continue this book series. And once she gets there, like she's super uneasy, everything feels weird. She finds the injured wife's diary, kind of. His family has been through a lot of trauma, a lot of loss. She uncovers like so many lies in the family and basically just realizes that perfect family is like has so many issues. And so you want to keep reading because you want to know the answers and you want to understand like how everything happened, like how certain people died, all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to spoil it, but like the end of this book, you get a lot of the answers. But there's a part to it where it's like you have to decide like what you choose to believe at the end. That's enough said. Enough said about that one. That one's a good one. Definitely read it, but After that one, I needed like the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Like I needed a romance, super cheesy book because that just had me like so messed up. The next one I read was One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. I wanted a cheesy romance book, but I didn't actually know what it was about when I read it because I don't read the backs. I just assumed it was a romance book. This is about a girl who's super close to her mom. Her mom dies and she goes on this trip that she was supposed to go on with her. She'd been in a state of questioning her marriage. She was upset obviously after her mom died and was really thinking about her life. This one's not deep, but it is very descriptive about Italy. Like it really does put you in that place. It's also like extremely whimsical and cheesy. So after reading Verity and then reading this, like I really didn't love it, but it is a super cute little book read. It really makes you appreciate like the people around you. So it was kind of a feel-good one. This is the last Colleen Hoover one. I bought this book November 9th and I returned it after reading 2 or 3 chapters. At the beginning I mentioned like her books are so intense right from the beginning that I just like did not think I could get into it and could not get past it. It's about this girl who was like super young. She was an actress or like doing really well in the like star type world. Then she got into this tragic accident which left her scarred and unable to like be herself and perform. It was all her dad's fault. So she's meeting up with her dad to talk to him. She meets this guy, but like it's super descriptive on like her accident and like her scars and all of that, and it just made me so sad and it felt so heavy right from the beginning that I was like, okay, I'm not reading this, like it's depressing me. So I returned it. But then I was like thinking about it after the One Italian Summer and I was like, okay, like I want to know how it ends because I know the other books were kind of weird at the beginning and I want to see if they get better. It definitely does get lighter. I actually haven't finished it. I'm in like the middle of it right now. So she meets this guy Ben at this shop, and then every November 9th, which is the day of her accident, they decide to meet up again. And I like the way she writes it, as in like so much time passes each year and then they just give each other updates. Definitely like it. I don't know how it ends. I'm giving it another chance. Actually ended up finishing the book before I finished editing this video. It got so good about halfway through. I could not put it down, and there is a major plot twist in the end, making it so worth the read. I'm so glad I gave it another chance because this is actually my second favorite book I've read this summer. I don't want this video to get too long, so those are my 8 book recommendations so far, the books I've been reading this summer and my favorites. Definitely have some favorites there, so hopefully this video helps you out on like deciding what to read next. Please comment down below some book recommendations or what ones you would suggest reading next, because now I'm back into it. So far on my to be read pile, the only one I have here is All Your Perfects, and then I also want to read Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid again. Like I'm a little biased here because I have 2 favorite authors, but I would love to like know more, but I definitely do like the more romance books so far is what I'm noticing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this isn't like my usual videos. I post a lot of like fashion, travel, vlog stuff. So let me know if you like this one and comment down below your suggestions. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.